Welcome to the 10th episode of the Kunin Analyze the podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, three-time Olympian, five-time Olympic champion, the 100 freestyle Olympic champion, Nathan Adrian. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Dan. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Again, thank you very much for coming and stepping up to this platform. It means a lot to me and for the Israeli swimming. Thank you also for Liran Vaknin that made the connection.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, how are you doing these days?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I have I think it's probably official that I'm a swammer these days. I still swim as much as I can. I mean, anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week, but I'm just not training like I used to. Um, yeah, but life is good. Life is good for me. I have two little girls and a third girl on the way, and yeah, li loving the dad life.
The dead life is better than swim life?
Oh man, we don't have enough time to really dig into those thoughts, man. Oh man. Um, no, it's just really different, really. But you take a lot of the lessons you learned from your sport into being a dad. And you learn honestly some of the things that were adaptive and actually helped you to perform well in your sport aren't adaptive and do not help you uh, when you're being a dad. And that's really what life is all about, right? I mean, figuring out growth and experiences and as a human, what it is to be human is different for everybody. But for me in particular, I do love the experiences of growing and learning, and I feel a lot more multidimensional now that there's a family in my life to take care of and provide for and be a part of. When you're swimming, you got really, really, really good at one thing. You just sharpened that spear and sharpened it and sharpened it and sharpened it and kept going back and doing the same thing over again. But like, man, when you got two little kids, a third one on the way, and each of them are different, you really don't have enough time to adapt or figure it out. You don't have multiple goes at it. You like they are changing so rapidly that you can only just make your best guess and say like and again this comes from swimming. Just give it like a probabilistic outcome. Like I think this is the best. This is going to increase my chances of success because it's the highest probability of success in my little brain in the like half a second I have to compute it. Man, that was a long answer to your short question, but maybe that gives you a little bit of insight into what I was thinking about in the pool when I was swimming laps in my low end aerobic days.
We're here for talking about swimming, and I guess my first question is, why did you start swimming? Like your parents just wanted you to
Mm.
know how to swim?
Yeah. It started out with as a safety thing. Parents wanted me to swim. My brother and sister also swam. So my sister was 8.5 years older than me. My brother is 6 years older than me. They both swam. So I was at the pool constantly. I did my swim lessons, but I wasn't ready. I was like looking back on it, I think I was a little bit of a timid kid. A little bit scared of new things, of like the social aspect of swimming. But again, I was 5 years old. Like what 5 year old isn't? It takes kind of an extroverted 5 year old to be like, I want to go to a swimming pool that's cold and I want to be surrounded by a bunch of people I don't know, right? Um, but one day when I was playing at the pool with my mom, because we were waiting for my brother and sister to be done with practice, I actually saw my best friend from school like in the pool. And I was like, "Oh, mom, like I'm ready to do it now." So then boom, all of a sudden my mom had an activity for all three of her kiddos, which is not an easy thing to do. And it was all at the same time at the same place. So the kind of the rest is history.
Yeah, I remember I started swimming at 6 years old, and for me, at the beginning, the water was very, very cold. I was a very skinny boy. Did you like
Yeah.
it at the beginning?
That's funny you say that because one of my memories was how cold it was.
Yeah.
Um, I could get past it. The instructors had their work cut out, kind of getting me to move around. They did this thing called a washing machine that was just getting our bodies moving, kind of generate a little bit of body heat. And then our warm-ups were just kind of frenetic swimming back and forth. There was no technique involved. It was just all about getting our core temperature up. Um, So yeah, it was that was definitely part of it and part of the discomfort of it. But I loved being with my friends. I loved being in the water. I was just kind of a water baby. I think I kind of see it now in my own kids that there's just an affinity for the water. Period. And like Parker, my oldest, doesn't even it's like we took her to try to do ski school and she like we went and spied on her when she had, this wonderful experience on the mountain where she was supposed to be learning how to ski and she was like taking a nap. And then all of a sudden she comes home and she plays with me in the hot tub for over an hour when we're back at like the cabin. I'm like, she just likes liquid water. Like I like solid water isn't her thing yet. I will give that to her. Like it's not, maybe it will be, but for right now, she just loves the water. So that's what I see in her. And I'm kind of looking back on my own experience. And I think that's probably what I experienced as well.
But it was more like a social thing, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the pool, I'm gonna see some friends, we're gonna have some fun in the water.
At the beginning, yes, certainly. Social thing. And for my parents, I mean, I think I was an energetic kid. So it was like a get that energy out. Like my body was fighting the cold temperature, right? So that's going to take a bunch of energy to warm yourself up. And then I was getting a bunch of social energy out with my good buddies. And then I was also, getting just that physiological workout, going back and forth in the pool.
Yeah. So another question, I mean, so obviously now we know you're one of the best male swimmers in the US, and at least in my opinion.
Yeah, thank
Uh,
you. I
so
appreciate that.
when did you like start realizing like, okay, I think I'm kind of good at this thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that really drove me and was kind of my rock for motivation and the reason why I continued going is because I was super competitive. So yes, as a kid, I was having fun with friends, but fun with friends for me also means racing, right? So I was racing my friends up and down. I would get all probably too like sad when I would get beat. So then I would like race them again and see if I could figure out, hold my streamline a little longer, do some more dolphin kicks, try a little harder. I mean, goodness, at 5 years old, we all know that like just trying harder is generally a solution for swimming faster at that age. So yeah, and I guess I realized I was winning local stuff, and then I don't know, 11 or 12 years old, I started realizing, oh hey, like I'm I'm good enough to be nationally ranked in the United States, right? So I was getting top 16. And for us, gosh, back then it was like you would have to wait till there was no swim, there was no like USA Swimming times database that was available. You'd have to wait until this magazine came out at the end of the year. So when the magazine came out at the end of the year, like I would just when I was younger, so when I was like in the 11, 12 age group, when I was 11, I was good enough that I could make the top 16. Like I could be there, but I wasn't obviously at the top. And then when I was 12, I could try to fight for a spot at the top, but I was never the fastest age group swimmer. So I would just always had that carrot. It was dangling in front of me, right? And ever since then, the dreams kind of grew as my performances grew. So it was, oh, I all of a sudden I made a sectionals meet, which is kind of for us, it's they divide the United States into like four sections, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I made the meet. Wow. Okay, now I want to final at the meet. Okay, now I want to, be top three at the meet. Now I want to make nationals. Like there was just like a progression to it all. Unfortunately for me, like I was able to, there was back in during my time competing in age groups, there was this really big gap between like sectionals and then like going to nationals, and there was really very little in between. And since then, they have kind of developed the like stepwise progression to like senior nationals and to Olympic trials and things. But back then, like it was just like sectionals. Okay, you better go really, really fast and try to make nationals. And for me,
Very
I
binary,
actually
maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Very binary. It's a great way to put it. And I actually rode my buddy's talent on a relay to nationals, which I think is beautiful, right? Because there was not that stepwise progression, but I got to go to nationals and I got to watch Michael Phelps compete. I got to watch guys like Cleet Keller compete. I got to watch local people that I competed against step up and compete on a national stage, which just gave me the motivation and kind of the I guess in some ways in my mind, it gave me permission to feel the same way that I should be able to do it too. Um, so yeah, I just progressively set bigger goals with every step that I made. Um, Coaches started talking about making national teams and things when I was maybe like 16 or 17, but it was so far off. Like I had to drop seconds in the 100 freestyle. Um, and then once I got to college, that's when I started training with guys that had been to the Olympics and had done it before. And I was still young and I was still growing, and they were still absolutely crushing me in practice every day. But every day I was like getting a little faster, like day after day after day and week after week after week. And I was just stacking those weeks on each other until all of a sudden I started believing. And then that was just like a whole new, like that just increased the rate of change for me. I was like, yeah, let's go. Like I can do this. So like I'm gonna like if I was trying really hard and putting everything into swimming that I could before, but it was even an extra level. It like unlocked a level of effort and consistency in me that I hadn't seen before. So um, yeah, it was probably between no, you know what, freshman year of college is probably when I started really believing, hey, if things go right, I can make the national team, I can make the Olympic team.
So, you know, for me at least, and for a lot of swimmers, young swimmers that I've been talking to, they have a lot of struggles. Yeah, during like their youth, they're thinking about quitting sometimes. Like, the sport is so repetitive. Like we swim from wall to wall. So, like,
Yes.
was there any like time, like maybe like until college, you were like, okay, I'm out. I don't want to do this no more.
All the time, man. All the time. You can't I mean you'd struggle. I think you'd struggle to find somebody that has performed at the top level that hasn't had the quits. And not everybody calls it the quits. We just called it the quits at Cal. And the second someone said it, they're like, "Oh, yep, me too." Like I'm feeling it. And I think part of the like importance of swimming as like a character builder is that you experience it and you acknowledge it and you say like, yeah, I am feeling that way right now, but like I committed to doing this at the beginning of the season. Therefore, I will see my commitment through. So that was just kind of like a hard line for me. Like I'm doing the season. I can make that choice whether or not I quit at the end of it. And then beyond that, it was, hey, I am feeling this way, but that is just my feeling. Like I have, like that's like kind of just something that's like the tide coming in and out, but I am the ocean. That's kind of a weird metaphor, but like the ocean wants to experience this level of success at a high level. What can I do to kind of put myself in a place that I'm motivated again? And for me, it was usually just taking a short break, letting my body recover. I just realized that those feelings came in. It was like a protective, adaptive mechanism because my body was just overtrained. Like I was just so tired from swimming so much, and I really just needed a weekend away. So if I could make it to Saturday and still put in some effort, still get some good adaptations from a Saturday practice, I would have the rest of Saturday, I would have all of Sunday off. And, this took a while until I was mature enough to have these conversations and that my coach knew me and my own physiology and my own psychology well enough that we could have conversations about, hey, listen, like, he would usually see it in me before I saw it in myself, but he'd be like, Nathan, take Monday off or take Monday morning off. All right. Sleep in that day. Um, and I'd usually come back and I'd be ready to go. Yeah, so it was the quits is a very real thing, and I think for my advice to any of your young swimmers that are experiencing it, like use it to get to know yourself. Like you are gonna have a moment of reflection in the future, whether it be a year from now, 5 years from now, 30 years from now, and you're gonna say, you're gonna wonder like, am I tough? Like, do I have like what it takes, or like, am I proud of what like the things that I did? And like, if you quit in the midst of a season, I just personally wouldn't have felt proud of it. But if it at the end of the season, when the time was there to really evaluate the decision and be thoughtful about it and decide that, hey, like my life has other priorities and it's going a different and swimming isn't fulfilling my values and what I want to be as a person at this time in my life, so I'm going to take some time away. But if it's just a fleeting thought or a feeling, like, nah, like we're tougher than that, man. Like as swimmers, as a community, we are tougher than that. And we as a community um take that into who we are after swimming. And that is why on the street, if you meet somebody and you're like, I'm a swimmer, and they're old like me, they're just like, yeah, keep it up. Like, keep going. It's going to serve you in so many great ways in your adult life.
And worst case, you can take just Monday morning off.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not gonna lie. The best morning to sleep in is the morning you have morning practice and you don't show up to. You sleep the best for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, oh, I hear you. I hear you. No, I think you're onto something.
Yeah. All right. So you definitely you're coming to California, Berkeley, as a freshman, right? And you say so the freshman year you realize, okay, I can be something in this sport. I can make the national team. It is so hard to make the national team in the USA. In Israel, if you do the cut, you're good to go. In the US, you gotta go to Olympic trials and you gotta.
Yeah,
So take me to your first Olympic trials in 2008.
yeah.
Do you remember like the 100 freestyle? Obviously, you made it there. Can you take me to the thoughts that going through your head during like the 100
Oh
freestyle?
man. Oh yeah, that was a long process. That was a long process. We have trials, we have semifinals, then we have finals. So it's just like the Olympics. It follows the Olympic schedule as well. So trials go by. They don't quite go as I had hoped. Semifinals come. They also don't go quite as I had hoped. And I had actually tied for ninth after that semifinal swim. So officially, I hadn't made finals. And then Ryan Lochte, who had beat me in semifinals, he scratched out of finals and opened up a slot for me to swim in the outside lane. But what I hadn't realized is that I hadn't actually gotten ninth alone. I had tied for ninth. So, and I only realized this in the warm down pool. So, as my coach was telling me that Lochte scratched, internally, I was like, sweet, I made it. But really, he was like, okay, when do you want to do your swim off? And so I had to swim off. And just kind of taking you back to this too. I mean, the Olympic trials was the most exciting meet by far that I had ever competed against. In prelims, I swam against Michael Phelps. So even though it was a sleepy prelims, I was swimming against Michael. So everyone was excited. Semifinals is a semifinal, so obviously they have, all the fun, exciting stuff going on there. Like there was literally fireworks going off on the side of the pool. There was the announcer. I mean, we were in like a basketball arena, so it was amazing. Um, and then going to my swim off, it was basically like, my parents and like his parents, and then like a couple of Cal swimmers that my coach had, asked to stay because they were done swimming. Um, and yeah, I mean, that was hard. That took some serious like willpower and emotional energy to swim that third race, right? Because I was going all out in the morning trying to beat Michael Phelps. He crushed me. I was trying to go all out in the semifinals, and getting ninth. And then at nighttime, I had to go all out again. Like I was just absolutely exhausted. And then finals comes along, and I'm in lane eight. This is the next day, obviously, because that's how the Olympic schedule works. It goes prelims, semis, and then if you have a swim off, that swim off happens that night too. And yeah, I was in lane eight, and really it was all day of just like resting, recovering, and then once the time came, allowing my body to get excited. Um, Allowing my emotions to start to bubble up to the surface and feeling that excitement and pressure and energy of being at an Olympic trials final as a 19-year-old trying to get one of these top six spots and knowing that if I got a top six spot, it was likely that I was going to get an Olympic medal. So those were all like things that were going through my head, but all at the same time, like I had great coaches, so we had developed my routine like just to the second, basically, like when I was getting in or when I was getting on the massage table, when I was eating, when I was getting in the pool, when I was getting out of the pool, how long I was going to shower for, like what I was
Wow.
wearing. I mean, all that stuff was just taken care of. It wasn't in any thinking part of my brain. It was in just the automatic, like just hit your processes type of thing. It was almost like no one remembers driving to work or no one remembers driving to the pool or whatever for that practice. No one remembers the specifics of it. It's just like
Yeah.
automatic. Um, so I worked really hard to develop that process, and it like once I kind of remember that feeling as like once I get into that mode, I just kind of let it ride. And then as the final came, just the same kind of deal. And I worked with my coach, like, hey, what do I need to do? Because I had gone like 48.8, 48.9, and then like 49.1 or something in those three swims the night before. Um, and I that wasn't going to be good enough. That wasn't going to make top six. So then I worked with the coach. I was like, hey, what do I need to do? And he's like, I think you need a little bit more power in your stroke in the beginning. Like, don't increase your stroke rate, just increase the like how hard you're pulling on the water, so we get a little bit more speed out of you in the beginning. And then have the same second 50. And that's like exactly what happened. So I dropped a full half second off the first 50, and then the second 50, I was able to come home the same, and I ended up getting fourth. And that really was like such a beautiful moment for my career because I was 19. I still had over 10 years to reflect on that particular swim and understand that like I really genuinely thought I went 100% effort three times the night before, and then the next day I went a half second faster in the 100 freestyle, right? So that's like I when I do camps and clinics with kiddos all the time, I'm just like, guys, listen, your next swim is the most important one. Like, don't worry about what happened before. It has happened. It literally happened to me to put me on the Olympic team, right? At
Yeah.
the very highest level. So like, why not you? Why not today? Why not at whatever local swim meet it is? You just really have to like allow those performances to happen by staying focused on the moment at hand.
Yeah, and then I guess like you make the Olympic team, the famous Beijing Olympics, Michael Phelps going crazy, breaking hella records. And then so your swim was like you swim in the prelims, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you get in the medal at night. Is it kind of weird? Kind of like seeing like the team gets first and you're like, oh my God, I am Olympic champion now.
Yeah, yeah, it's super weird. It's super weird. Because we were all like, it is this dynamic in the US. Like we are all like awesome friends, really, which is like a very special thing. But we are also very competitive, and we are competing against each other. So it is an interesting dynamic because like we're walking out arm in arm, like as Team USA and during prelims, but we all also want to go the fastest. And it's just like it's a dual nature, and it takes a lot of like maturity from an emotional perspective to be able to manage that. And I'm thankful that all of my teammates were on the same level as me with handling that. Um, and it ended up that out of the four of us, so it was myself, Matt Grievers, Ben Wildman Toberner, and Cullen Jones that all swam in the prelims. And then Cullen was the one who went fastest in terms of a split to make the well, it was a little more complicated than that, but Cullen was the one who earned their spot on the nighttime relay.
Yeah.
And so myself and Ben, we were up in the stands. I'm not sure if Matt had come up yet. He had a 100 backstroke. I think it was maybe a semifinal or something swim that day. And we were just watching, and I remember as the relay was unfolding, kind of as Jason dove in, I looked at Ben Wildman, my teammate, and I was like, "Sweet, we're getting a silver medal." And he was like, "I don't know, man." Like at that point, he was literally about 35 meters in, and Ben was like, "I don't know. Like it looks like Elaine is like starting to tie up a little bit." And I was like, I don't know, silver sounds pretty cool. And then obviously like everything unfolded, and I just like, man, what a lesson for me to learn in that particular moment. I should had a little bit more belief in Jason in that swim myself. But yeah, that meant that I was watching from the stands. My teammates receive a well-earned gold medal. They put their hands over their heart and they got to listen to the national anthem and watch the flag raise. And I received my gold medal in a like vacuum sealed bag at like a poorly attended team meeting. So like glorious. This is beautiful. I was 19 years old. I have a gold medal. Like this is awesome. This is awesome. But this is also one of those moments that like I kind of reflect on and I'm like that wasn't enough. Like I still had a career in front of me and I wanted to continue and do more for myself and do more for my country. So in the same way that you were asking like how when did I start believing I could make the international teams, like I just set higher goals. I was like this was awesome. Making this team was amazing. Competing for a spot on that final spot was amazing. I want to make an individual spot next time and I did. So 2009 Worlds, I made the individual spot. I didn't make finals in the 100. I made finals in the 50. I swam finals in a 4x100 freestyle relay that we won. But then like I didn't medal individually. So then I set higher goals again, right? Like I want a medal. Like these are the things that you think about, and these are your rocks when that there's that little voice inside of you or that little devil on your shoulder that's saying, quit, you're tired, you're tired. It's like, well, yeah, I'm tired, but you know what sucks more than being tired right now? Like the feeling of not achieving your goal or not succeeding in something that you really feel like you're capable of. Um, yeah, so like that's really like I remember like like throwing like some pretty heavy and to be fair, like it's not heavyweight anymore, but because like the athletes
Yeah.
now are so strong. But back in the day, throwing a bunch of heavy weight on my back for a squat and being like, yeah, you are tired. Your legs are absolutely fried, but you have like months and months to recover. So your legs aren't going to be so dead you can't jump. Like, let's go. What are you made of? Like, this is worth it. You can do it.
So yeah, you definitely set a higher goals, and then I don't want to like if we go in each individual career, like in each individual competition. I'm sorry, we will run out of time. So
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the 2012 Olympics. Obviously, the 100 freestyle. You are not coming as the favorite to the final. It's
Mm-mm.
definitely James Magnussen, which is known for his incredible second 50. All the time he's
Yep.
back halving. And before like we get into the race, like for me, when I stand before the blocks in like the conference meet in the college, or like when I stand behind the blocks in the Israeli Championships A final, I'm having like a bit of like butterflies. What do you feel when you stand I don't know, remember if it was lane 4 or 5, but you stand James Magnussen right next to you. You're about to swim 100 freestyle, and for the US and for yourself, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think is the short answer to that question. I just it sounds silly, but I just be. Um, but like in being, it's like that is all like literally years of preparation to create that mindset, to be in a spot that I'm really comfortable in um, and to like allow those thoughts, those feelings and emotions to like propel me to success. I want to make it really clear that like everybody is also different, right? So like there are swimmers like me who like thrive off of that emotion and thrive off of that energy, but there's also swimmers who that puts them in a spot, mentally and emotionally that is not conducive to peak performance. And for them, it's like they need to figure out ways to bring them back down out of that like excitement aspect or that physiological like fight or flight excitement. Um, I loved it. I miss it so much. Like right now, like I have a very benign life. It's like sunny and I don't know what it is in Celsius, but it's like sunny and 70 degrees out and like the worst part of my day, like the hardest part of my day is like when it sometimes rains a little bit and like
Yeah.
I don't really like compete in anything right now. Like my life is consumed with being a father and I do love it, but don't get me wrong, like if I had the the time, energy, or ability to like go back and experience that like that emotion, that just like that cortisol, that adrenaline, that like that noradrenaline just like pulsing through your brain. Like I loved it. And it's so funny. Like one of my buddies, Matt Grievers, like I call him every now and then, and we just like relive glory days, and just like because we just have such similar experiences in the sport, such a positive like time that we had, and a love for it. But like we're just at a necessity in life, like that time has to pass, and we just kind of talk about it. And it's really helpful for me. So I actually don't remember what your
Yeah,
question
so
was.
the question was like, how do you feel, and like how did you
Yeah.
feel behind the blocks, and that sets up a lot of emotions. So I guess like you're feeling good. Like,
Feel good. Feel good. I mean, but like my version of feeling good is having those butterflies. I loved it. Like even fast forwarding a little bit, like even 2019 after coming back from having like a cancer diagnosis and some pretty intense surgeries, like I remember walking out on deck to a finals of a relay and like I truly did not know how or I didn't know what to expect in terms of how I felt, but like it was like locking in. My brain was just like, this is where you're meant to be. This is what you're meant to do. And I loved it. So yeah, it
so
was it is an aspect of figuring out how to get your mind to a place for peak performance. And then you got to think about yourself kind of as like you got to think about different aspects of your life as different variables that you can manipulate to get your mind to that place. Because we're human. We're all human. We're all animals that like stimulus response is such a thing for every single one of us. And for me, that stimulus of being in a like stressful like situation elicited a great physiological response for me. But for other people who don't, they need to kind of right when they experience that stimulus, figure out some sort of intervention that gets them that then
yeah,
kind of steers their body and their mind and their body into a spot where they can perform physiologically.
and it was indeed a great physical response out of you. You went your personal best. You won the gold medal. You
Yeah,
out-touched
yeah,
James by 100. So
yeah.
I guess my question is, so he was actually ahead of you coming into the last 20, 15 meters, and he's known like, yeah, okay, the race is over. Like he's going, like he does what he always does. But then you just put your head down and just like sprint to the wall. Do you remember that moment?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely remember that. I mean, it was like I just remember I had moments like of just I guess a lot of confidence in my swim and my ability to go a best time. I was not confident that I was going to beat James at all. Like I just was confident that like I am in a good place. I can swim the fastest I have ever swam in my life today. Um, I just have to execute this swim really well. And I was a big feel swimmer. Like I really needed to be able to like I would do a lot of visualization. I would do a lot of the visualization where like it's not like what you see, it's like what you feel kind of thing, right? Close my eyes and this is how I feel going through the water. This is how I should feel the first 35 meters. This is how I should feel off the wall kind of thing. And I was doing it. And I was doing it going really fast. I think I was out like 22.6. Again, back then that was fast for the first 50. Uh, and I was feeling great. Like I had all of my legs and I felt like I had an entire another gear to go to. But I didn't go to that next gear. I built the second 50. And for me, that was exactly what I needed to do because I needed to build to the like 80, 85 meter mark. And then that's when my body started shutting down a little bit. I could go to that straight arm. I could hold my breath and I could change my technique ever so slightly. So, I could, get just a squeeze a little bit more juice, out of my muscles and got my hand on the wall, first. So yeah, that again, that was just through such preparation. It's not like movies just make it seem like, oh yeah, there's this montage, and then all of a sudden they just want to try really hard at the particular moment
Yeah.
that it matters, and they were able to do it, and that may or may not happen on occasion, but it's way more often that it comes through preparation that those moments happen.
So you said you practiced that, I guess, strategy a lot of times in practice.
Constantly, 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 constantly.
Wow. So yeah, I don't know how to imagine even like being in the Olympics and like even like touching first. Like I guess like
Well, you
you're
got to
like
start somewhere, right?
yeah, 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 of course, of course. I guess I want to talk about a little bit of race strategy right now, and
Mhm.
I guess like your strengths or weaknesses. So let's talk about a bit of underwater. So obviously, I mean, if you compare you to Cale Gress or like Jordan Cruz,
Mhm.
you do not have those cracked underwaters, but you were still able to win NCAA's multiple times in the 50 and the 100,
Oh yeah.
which is basically an underwater sport, especially these days. How do
Yeah.
you explain that?
It is an underwater sport these days, and on it, I explain it because I was at the transition point for it to become an underwater sport. And whether or not like I don't know if this is true or not, but we just like didn't have a full on like appreciation or understanding of how to appropriately dolphin kick. Like Michael Phelps probably started this revolution, but the way he dolphin kicks was completely different from Caleb and Jordan and everybody. And for me, when I did it, I just didn't have a very good fundamental understanding. At least I don't think I had a good fundamental understanding of dolphin kick, how it works, how to get the most strength out of my dolphin kick either. And then I never spent the time because I didn't understand how it worked. I didn't spend the time developing strength in those particular positions. And what I mean by that is that my thoracic spine is not super flexible and or powerful. I was really good at locking it in, just like really solidifying my core, and then having a little like some rotational like flexibility for freestyle, but like making that like wave-like motion and making that wave-like motion with my thoracic spine with any level of power. And I just didn't develop my strength and my movement patterns in those ranges of motion. So then if I tried to go there, my body would just kind of panic and it would tighten up and I couldn't do it as well as I otherwise should have. And like looking back, that's definitely something I would like emphasize and develop as a swimmer now. But
But like
yeah.
obviously, I think your records are 18-6 at the 50 and
Hmm.
41-0. You think that like
Hmm.
if we take the Nathan of today, the mind of Nathan today to the Nathan of 2008 and 2009, think you can go faster
Yeah,
with
100%.
underwaters?
No, just because belief.
Okay.
True. Yeah, no, truly. I am a big believer in belief. And it all has to start with belief. And belief, to be fair, is one of the hardest things to like. I say that, and I say that knowing that I wasn't particularly gifted at it. And the reason why I say that is because I was gifted at competing. I was gifted at racing other people. I was gifted at getting my hand on the wall, which I'm very grateful for. But when it came to like breaking barriers, I always had a hard time, and it was that absolutely had to be mental. Um, and like for example, the number of times that I've gone a 22-0 or a 48-0 in the 50 and 100 long course freestyles is like statistically really improbable. Like I should have gone way more 22 ones and or 21 nines or 48 ones or 47 nines. But there was just like this weird mental thing where just like 48-0, 22-0 was something that I went. And I really do believe that like back then it was going times that would indicate that you were going to go a 48 mid or whatever it was, 21 mid or 21 low at the end of the season. Like I could walk out, look my coach in the eye and be like, "Hey, like high five, we did a great job." But like now that's not fast enough. So if I truly knew deep down, like I needed to figure out how to be faster, like I think that we would have like your mind and your body is just like such a brilliant problem solver, even beyond like what you're consciously thinking about. I think we would have solved that problem if we were like 21.5 isn't isn't good enough. Or I think I had the American record at 21-3. 21-3 isn't good enough. We got to go 21-1. We got to figure out how to go 21-0. I do think my like we would have got figured out a way to go
Figure it
faster.
out. It's kind of like when
Yeah,
you see someone go up 46, you're like, okay, there is a way to go 46, so I'm gonna figure out how to do it.
exactly, exactly. And that all starts with belief. And I just I don't know why. I really don't. Maybe I had a closed mindset. Maybe I still do, which I'm still working on. But um, yeah, just like the real belief in doing improbable or impossible things is just like that is the gift that those people that set records have.
Interesting. I wanna now continue to. Right. So I looked at your medal count. A lot of relays there.
Hmm.
A lot of 4x1 medley, 4x1 100 freestyle. You were basically the go-to guy for the US. They were like, okay, easy. And Nathan Adrian on the freestyle. He's gonna close the relay. Also the longevity of like your career. You were so consistent like throughout the years. So I can maybe say that like the 100 freestyle, the 50 freestyle is like your bread and butter.
Hmm.
But what was the maybe like st strategy that like, or it's always changed like throughout the years for the 50 and the 100?
It would change. I mean, I always wanted to try new things. I remember messing around with my technique in the 50 and it just really didn't work a couple times. I was trying to pull with the like I was watching like Flo and Ben and they were pulling with these super straight arm pulls and I was like, well, I need to pull with a super straight arm. And it just like for me, it just didn't activate my lats and my rotator cuff in the right way. So that wasn't the way that I needed to swim the fastest. Um and yeah, for the 100, I mean, there was always like a baseline way that I swam a particular race. But that baseline could kind of shift based off of usually it'd be based off of like the performance the year prior and like where what direction that I felt like we needed to head. And obviously with my coach's blessing, of course, but that was just kind of where my mind would go and what I would focus on. Um, so sometimes it would be just developing raw power and speed. Let's get like super strong in the weight room. Let's get super fast, and then we'll just be able to ride that speed and then try to come home as fast as we can. Or maybe it would be working on like the back half in the more traditional way, where it's like really working on endurance and managing your body through that pain. So yeah, there was always I was always working on it, always tinkering with it. But I would say, for anybody who's interested, I would consider the 100 freestyle that like when you're getting a relay swing off the blocks as different as a different event from the 100 freestyle when you get a dive. The way you swim it is completely different. You really ride out that dive for the first. If you do a nice job of it, and you ride it out with a good solid core, and I got a little bit muscly there at the end of my career. If I could lose a couple pounds again, ride that first 35 meters out like it's absolutely nothing. And then you get to come back and you get to come back in a 24 mid to low and it feels amazing. Whereas like off of a dive, like you just don't have that extra step. You don't have that momentum. So it's a different feel.
Also, like, being in a relay, like being the go-to guy is like, I don't know, like, didn't you feel like the nation on your like back? Like they count on me so much to close that relay. Like, how
Yeah.
did you feel?
Yeah, that's a good there was a lot that went into that, and there was a lot that of like confidence that had to go into feeling comfortable in that role. I mean, I competed for that spot every day. Like, I mean, literally, like whether or not I was seeing my competitors or not, like I thought about it and I felt it and I felt that weight, and it wasn't a burden. It was an honor. It was a privilege, but I felt that burden, like walking around any given day. Like, hey, I, Team USA relies on me. Like, I should prioritize this in my life, and I did. Um, so then by the time you get to the Olympics, like yes, you have to fight for that spot. Don't get me wrong. I was just prepared to fight for it all the time because I was a competitor. Um, but at that point, I felt like I had earned it, right? So I am in a spot that I'm giving Team USA a good probability or a good chance to win a medal. Like let's do this now. Um, but that again, like that comes just from consistency, day in, day out, practice every day, and like manipulating yourself, manipulating your own mindset to get the most out of yourself and give you that confidence, so that you know when you step up and race, you can win.
Interesting question. If you're talking about the 100 freestyle, what do you think about the last Olympics, the 100 freestyle? Penjan Lei going 46.5 in a slow pool. But what do you think
Yeah,
like he did differently than the other people in that race?
man, I really don't know. I really don't know. I mean, that's just like that's just I talk about it with my buddies now. Like I officially feel like I'm part of the previous generation of swimming now. He figured out a way. In my mind, that swim is what I was hoping for, especially towards the end of my career, where like I feel like I really squeezed all the juice out of the lemon, metaphorically, like to develop speed and power, and then try to bring it home. Whereas he took the stroke that is a little bit more efficient. So I was taking a 50 stroke and I was trying to make it a little bit longer, make it a little bit more efficient to swim
Mhm.
100. It looks to me at least, looks like he's taking a 400, a 200 stroke, and then making it extraordinarily fast, faster than I ever went out in. Um, for his first 50, and then obviously that's a stroke that's based off of efficiency and lends itself to endurance races, so he's able to just like bring it back home. um yeah, I mean it is he obviously has an extraordinary gift, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And I mean it's pretty clear to me right now. There's kind of like it ebbs and flows, right? I mean, like when it was me and Brent Hayden and Caesar and like Florent, when he was still swimming the 100, like we were big guys. We were making massive, massive waves in that pool. And it would
Yeah.
just kind of like throw us around. James is in there too. I mean, we were like, I think all of us were like 100, hovering around 100 kilos or, plus or minus. Um, but now, like, if you're less than that, like, and you can really get on top of the water and do this super efficient stroke and go 22 low, like, you're like a little water bug out there. You're able to like kind of like go over the waves instead of go through them. And really, it just like if you can go over that wave or under that wave, especially that wave that's following everybody after the first 50, and you can ride your momentum from your underwaters or from your wall, like you are in a really good spot to go a good fast second 50.
Do you think we're gonna see a 45.99 in the following years?
Yeah, I do. I don't.
Really?
I mean, like that's one of the things that I say out loud, and I'm like, man, what? That's crazy. But like, why not? Like, we thought that Caesar's 46.9 was like, oh my gosh, look at these times from '09. Are we ever gonna catch them? And then like finally, we're just like back to this place where we're just setting world records, left and right again. So like, yeah, I do. I don't know if it'll be in the next 5 years or maybe in the next 25 years, but like, I think that's the beauty of swimming is that we just still have not reached that glass ceiling yet. Whereas in like track and field, like you have some records that have been standing for a really, really long time and we're
Yeah.
probably not going to see them get broken.
Yeah, like high jump or like long jump, they're like crazy records
Exactly.
now.
Those are the
Yeah.
two that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So we're getting to the end of the interview. I have an interesting question. So I always say you as someone that's like willing to try new things as in terms of like swimming in syrup or like doing anything like fun
Yeah.
related that comes to swimming. And obviously also dual in the pool you were part of, also set a couple of
Yeah.
American records there in the short course meters, the ISL. Do you think swimming needs more of it these days?
Yeah, ooh, that is a loaded question. I think yeah, certainly yes. I in that same sentence, I just want to like rewind a little bit and make sure that we are not focused on doing these like crazy, amazing, cool one-off events, but also still doing the basics well as well, right? And what I think about is, domestically sometimes just like making sure that like we emphasize how extraordinary some of these performances are. Like we just had a meet in Sacramento, which is like close to me. Luca went 152. And I'm just like, that is so incredible, like amazing. And what a beautiful story that is because he was one of these youngsters that showed so much potential and has experienced so much adversity through different injuries. But why isn't my Instagram feed just blowing up with those stories? And like unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth to take on you know that right now to make sure that people experience and hear his story because leading up to 2028 he deserves a megaphone to tell people how amazing he is to talk about what he wants to do for Team USA. There's just a lot of noise happening in our sport and in our world right now, unfortunately. So I kind of just want to get us back to the point where we're taking our stories, we are amplifying them, we are showing the United States and showing the world what it is to be a swimmer. Like your audience likely knows, but like you and your audience likely know that the regular person doesn't know
Doesn't.
like what it's like to be in the water for 20, 25 hours a week and then in the weight room as well. And then all of a sudden trying to throw on, university on top of that. Like they're amazing, amazing stories. And in the gosh, I'm gonna sound old now, but like in the TikTok age or the Instagram Reels age where like people only have like 12 seconds of attention span. Unfortunately, like a lot of these stories get lost.
So I'm agreeing with you. I wish, and I feel like some people are like Kyle Sokol trying like to bring the sport to be more fun.
Yes, I love it. I love
Yeah,
watching it.
swimming in jeans, why not? Like
Yeah.
whatever makes
Yeah.
the content
And
good.
bringing the fun to it. I think he is doing an amazing job at it. I really do. And we only have one of him, unfortunately. But he's doing a great job.
Well, yeah. So I kind of finished my question. There is one last thing. You're gonna do the
Okay.
swimming quiz. Everybody does it on my channel, so
Uh-oh.
gonna do this. So just like quick questions. What do you rather?
Okay.
So racing or training?
Oh, racing.
Racing. Favorite gear in swimming?
Ooh, fins and paddles.
Fin paddles with a snorkel on?
If I'm going slow, but otherwise I like to go fast.
Long course or short course?
Long course.
Morning practice or evening practice?
Oh, I mean, the sweet spot for me is like a later morning practice. At Cal, we were always stuck with a 6 a.m. time. But if we have like a 7 or 8 a.m. start, that's a good time for me.
All right. Kicking or pulling?
Oh, kicking.
Lane four or lane eight?
Oh, lane eight. Oh, lane eight by far. I mean, I don't have enough time now, but that the lane eight was like, oof, I had a lot of great performances out of lane eight.
Yeah, winning and C is also from lane eight.
Winning NCs, I won 2008 short course world championships out of lane eight. I made the Olympic team out of lane eight. It was like lucky lane eight for a long time for me.
Right. Body weights or weights?
Oh, well, I like weights. Definitely like weights. Right now, my elbow, I kind of got a broken wing right now. My elbow is
Oh,
a little
okay.
messed up, so I've kind of gone back to like body weight stuff, and I'm gonna stick to that until my elbow's feeling better.
Right. And the toughest competitor you had in the pool?
Oh, there can't be just one. There were so many different ones at different times of my career. You can't, it's not
Yeah.
fair to
Yeah.
force me to
Let's
choose
not
one.
offend anyone. Let's not offend anyone.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the quiz. If there is, one like tip you want to give to the young swimmers or the people who watch it, you can say.
Oh, yeah, I'll just keep it short. The talk that we had, for those of you who are still listening, again, our attention spans are so limited. But I talked about it before, just belief. You got to believe. And then the second part is reframe the pain. Reframe the pain, okay? Like, yes. You will experience pain in swimming, but it's going to be for the better. It's helping you achieve your goals. Um, and once you can embrace it, and that's one of the things I think I did well in my career, and I think that Cal swimming does well as a culture, is to embrace the pain. Like it's not like, oh my gosh, this practice is going to hurt so much. It's like, how much can I make this practice hurt in a good way? Obviously, trying to avoid injuries and things, but how much can I make this practice hurt so that it's going to serve me in my like quest to achieve my goals?
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Kunin Analyze podcast. That was Nathan Adrian. Nathan, thank you so much.
Hey man, yeah, thanks for having me.